It is Tuesday the 29th of September, and it's about 20 to 8 at night, but that's not really right now. If you happen to have a drink to hand, that'll be a good time to grab a drink. Today, 1 year ago today, before I start, I should probably tell you, we're shooting somewhere slightly different, as it might be obvious here, because this will be a slightly different video. I'll just start with a story. And if you have a drink, as I said, feel free to get it. Today, about a year ago, in fact exactly a year ago, almost by that clock, NextPi 0.99D Gold Master was burnt. So NextPi, the one that you're all running today, is about a year old. Now, the reason I'm going to tell you this story is because in the land of open source, especially in NextPi and Linux and stuff like that, it's used a long time. But the week before we hit Gold Master, David and I, and if you have your drink, cheers. Oh my god, that's fucking horrible. Let's not do that. Let's do this. Anyway, so about the week before, so that would have been now 53 weeks ago, NextPi had come into shape. Most of what was going on with NextPi at this point in time was pretty experimental. The serial port was quite new. It hadn't got a lot of stuff built. But we slowly got things together. And we realised that we had no time at all to test how good the serial port was and what it could do. So we put together the current protocols using 7-bit, because we know where they were safe, at 115.200. And David took a week's holiday 53 weeks ago, and I took a week's holiday 53 weeks ago. Cheers. And during that time, a few bits and bobs came together. The final serial interface with the NextPi CLI is one of them. Another one of them is PiSend, the PiSend that everyone uses today. And my favourite of the three, even though PiSend is the glue that keeps all of the universe together, my favourite of the three, Terminexes, as it's officially known. Because we need a good terminal experience on the Raspberry Pi. Anyway, so this week, David and I worked flat out. It was literally a week of us taking time off work and doing nothing other than working on this serial interface for the Next. And we managed to get it all working. Obviously, it shipped. But it's never been the interface we were perfectly happy with, the interface we wanted. There was a lot of things that were not quite great. But the NextPi that shipped, the NextPi Gold Master, the NextPi whose birthday it is today, is still on your Next. And we built a NextPi CLI, a bunch of wrapper scripts that allow novice users and basic developers to interact with the Pi and do new things. So I'm going to show you exactly one of them today. The script that every developer who works and interacts with the Pi should know about. NextPi admin _ version. Oops, helps if I can type. 0.99D, the version of NextPi that is 1 year old today. Happy birthday, NextPi. Time to retire. Not really, we're not retiring NextPi. I'm of course exaggerating. I already did a demo 6 weeks ago where I showed off NextPi 2, the stuff that we'll be doing on the much bigger version on the 60 gig interface card. But we're not abandoning this version, of course not. And more importantly, this version needs more stuff added to it. And however we deal with this version, the upgrade path, the tools we build, those will be the upgrade path and the tools that we use for NextPi 2. And more specifically, 0.99E. And that is where we're going today. So, having built PiSend and the terminal, David, our absolute saviour, hasn't stood still and has built many other things in the meantime. And technically, I've been the one who hasn't done much work on this. I've suffered burnout for a bit and many other things that aren't really important or relevant right now. But a year further on, I would like to show you where we are with NextPi. So what you're going to be seeing here now today is the first public look of that, the new NextPi. Oops, wrong button. Really, you'd think I'd be good at this by now, wouldn't you? Having tried to rehearse this 3 times today already. So, as many of you may have noticed, my LED is a slightly different colour. I'm running the DV Plus, early beta version from Paul Land here. Fabulous little toy, other than RGB LEDs, which is the reason I love it. More importantly, is it gives me 2 drives. And in my internal drive, we have some new stuff. one of the new things is, as I navigate through this folder structure, NextPi 0.99D, we have a dot command. NextPi UI. This name may not be completely new to some of you. Some of you may have seen this name before, particularly those of you who are on our Discord server in the tools or the NextPi rooms. And if you're not on our Discord server and you want to keep track of what's going on here, now you know how. That is where I will be recruiting my beta test volunteers to test this. NextPi UI. NextPi UI is how we will be managing the upgrade path of NextPi in the future. NextPi has always had several features built in. Very few people have taken advantage of these. Very few games have taken advantage of these, even though they have all been documented in the Git repo. I don't know what's... Siri, be quiet. Naughty girl. Let's put this into theatre mode. There we go. Start again. Excuse me. Confused by Siri there. So, this is our user interface. This is what we're putting together. 0.99D is the current version of NextPi. NextPi has always had the ability to upload code to it from the Next, and that is exactly what's just happened here. And this is why you're seeing this is ready. This has checked our version and uploaded code in the background. That's why the border flashed at the beginning. NextPi user interface. And I'm well aware that you can't see what's going on there. So, and one of the reasons we're in a different setup this evening is so I can do this. And get a slightly better view. Doesn't mean I can drive the Next, doesn't mean I can drive a tripod though. There we go, let's try that. Hopefully that should let you see what's going on. Very little going on here right now, as you can see. The user interface is very simple, excuse me. It has a couple of important things. One, it's telling us our Pi is healthy. The reason this tool is useful, in its current state alone, is we often get support questions asking us about, is my Pi working? I can't tell. Well, by running this user interface, you can now tell if your Pi is healthy. Little happy tip up the top there tells us our Pi is healthy. It can be communicated with. We have a quit button, because why not? It is a dot command, and quitting back to your current environment is supported. This doesn't erase basic, this is not like a Next, this leaves your Next environment intact. The reason this is if you are a developer working on a game, or or someone who wants to use the Next in a not necessarily game-playing exclusive mode, you may not want to trash your current setup. You might want to play a new MP3 in the background, or one of the many other things you can do on NextPi. But trashing your basic environment as you go is not necessarily the right thing to do, so as a dot command we can make sure that doesn't happen. Now I'm just running out of a folder, and by naming a dot command dot, you can just run it by hitting enter in the browser. Like this. So there we go, does our checking, we're ready to go, back in the user interface. This tool has one other purpose at this point in time. Pressing U allows me to update the Next. Various tests are being performed, and it'll check what's going on, and I now have a burble why approximately 300k is sent to the Next. PiSend, as it exists right now today, is using UU encoded stream transfer. This is 7-bit safe, and also doesn't have any checking, which means if the transfer fails in any reason, it's up to the developer to work out why. What you're seeing here is a new protocol that we've built that is not 7-bit safe, it's 8-bit, but it uses all of the hardware of the Next, and we've designed it. Oh, look at this lovely drive access light from Paul. You probably can't see that, can you? Never mind. What this is doing is using all the hardware features of the Next, and has built a protocol that is designed to exploit these best. So we're using 16k blocks, various buffers, various checksums that may use the Next to its maximum performance. In the time I've been waffling to you, it's uploaded that 300k, updated the Next's Raspberry Pi, and is now going to restart the Raspberry Pi for us. Once this has done, it'll tell us. By checking the protocol as it goes, it can retry blocks that fail. This is not a new technical, we haven't invented this. This protocol has existed for ages, literally since the 70s. One of the reasons we've had so much trouble doing this is we've had trouble finding anyone who wanted to implement a protocol using anything that existed on NextPi, or someone who had the technical expertise to write both ends of the suite. Technically, we still don't have one person who does that. What we do have is a small team of people, and this is where I would... Oh, look, NextPi restart required. It has detected the Next is updated, and finishes update, and we now need to restart our UI. Which I will do. There we go. Oh dear, we'll come back to that in a moment. So this hasn't been built by one person, this has been built by a team of folks, and I would like to thank David and Robin and Paul and Peter and Andy and Ewan and who mustn't I forget? And Tim. Tim's the last person I mustn't forget who's helped me do the testing for this. So this is been only tested and built by us guys, and this tool you're seeing here is 8 weeks old. 8 weeks ago I took a little time away from work and started building this, and with the help of those other folks, and unlike last time, unlike a year ago, we've slept this time, and all these people together we've built this wonderful tool. Now, having updated my Pi, NextPi UI for NextPi 0.99D isn't going to be our friend anymore, because we're now running NextPi 0.99E, and the tool has told us that. So while the tool will still technically work, because NextPi is backwards compatible, because people who write games that use NextPi's API have to have their game work even after a user updates their version of NextPi. Many of you have heard me say these things before, because this tool, as I say, is 8 weeks old. This tool has been going through several rounds of private alpha for the last 7 weeks, with video updates being issued. Those video updates I've kept safe, because now, week 8, this is the first time this tool has gone public, the first time anyone outside of my alpha group is seeing any of this. I'm going to call back on some of those videos in the future to show you how ropey and how bad this tool has been in the past, because I want to keep you all more informed. That's my fault. I've been a bad person, and I've not told any of you what's going on behind the scenes. So I want to do videos every week, every 10 days, 2 weeks or so. I want to let you know what's going on, not just in NextPi, but what's going on in my little Next universe, because I like talking about the Next, obviously, but specifically what's going on in the tool and ecosystem of the things that I develop and the things that I work in. So you'll be seeing more of NextPi and more of NBN, and some of my other tools as well that I showed in the past. But anyway, here we go. The tool is updated. Our Pi has been updated. While I've been waffling, it's so easy to update your Pi now, without opening up your Next, without piddling around with a screwdriver. And I'm really glad this demo has worked, because all my previous ones have been done on my DevKit Next that you guys have seen in the past many times. My DevKit Next, easy to open, easy to get the SD card onto. Not this one, obviously. This is my retail Next that I've just put back together with Paul's DB Plus inside it. Now, I didn't want to open it again to change the SD card, so therefore, I'm really glad this worked. And it has worked. It told us it worked, and here's our little exclamation mark telling us there's been a problem detected with our Pi. The problem is our tool, NextPi UI, is out of sync with the version of the Pi, and we know that because it told us that at startup. So what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to quit this lovely tool, go into our browser, and I'm going to go into this folder. Again, the dot command, and again, a tool we can run. The helper is out of date because the code that the Pi last uploaded the code that was last uploaded to the Pi was for the old version of our helper. So it's fixed itself by bringing itself up to date. Now this is a debugged version of the tool. That's not a problem here. What you're seeing is lots of my debugged data, but you've seen lots of other things. This isn't where I'd like to be right now. This I was hoping to be finished right now, but obviously it's not. But upload, download, various other tools can be pulled into here, and we do have more tools coming. And next week, there'll be another video next week, I'll show you more features of this, including some more features that I've built on top of the user interface. You see we have memory and storage used. I'll talk about those next time. For now, I should reset my Next. So, this is the state of NextPi, the state of how we're going to be moving forward with NextPi, and the first sneak peek of NextPi UI. So, happy birthday NextPi 0.99D. For the last year, you have been our friend, but soon to move along to better and newer pastures. Happy birthday and goodbye. Thank you for watching.